Hey guys. So the other day I was watching this movie called Game Night. A movie where a couple gets together with other couples and do a game of murder mystery that goes horribly wrong. The movie was fun to watch, both because of the great comedy, but also in regards to filmmaking. A technique I noticed was a establishing shot taken by a drone that really sets the scene of the neighborhood. The fun thing about the establishing shot was that it was shown like a miniature effect. It was simply something I needed to look into. And I figured out that it was called a Tiltshift effect. The best way to do a Tiltshift effect is to have a lens specifically designed for it. One of these lenses though is probably $1,000, maybe $2,000. In this regard it was really cool because they were going for this whole board game aesthetic. This is such an interesting effect and I really want to learn how to recreate it. I don't have the funds to go out and get a totally new lens for just this one effect, so I want to learn how to do it in post. Luckily there's a bunch of YouTube guides on how to do it on photography or in videography. I want to go out and shoot some footage and then go back into Premiere and check out if it's something that I can recreate. So I'll just grab my gear and then go look for a spot to do some footage for this effect. See you in a bit. So the funny thing about Denmark is that even though on the time of this recording, in the middle of March, it's still 3 degrees, so that's why I'm wearing heavy coats, many layers. You just gotta coat it up. So the thing about the tilt shift effect is that in order for everything to seem very miniaturized, you gotta do some drone footage or maybe a time lapse. I think the wind is too hard today, so it might just be a time lapse that I'm going to do, but we'll see. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. The place that I'm heading now is called Bellevue Beach. It's a beach just north of Copenhagen. It's usually pretty crowded, but it's at this time of year, probably not that many at the beach. Probably not with this weather. So, but yeah. See you guys in a bit. So I'm not loving it, I'm not hating it, but I think I'm gonna try to find another place to shoot the time lapse. See if I can get something that's a bit more top down instead of straight at it. Unfortunately I ran out of coffee, but yeah, let's do it. Okay, so I think that was okay. I mean, I don't love it, I don't hate it, but it's still a time lapse, and I'll see what I can make of it. But I think I'm gonna have to find some other things that I can do a time lapse of, where I might get a more top-down perspective. I'll drive around, see what I can find. Cool. Okay, so that's footage done over here at Dybelsbro. I've done a couple of time lapses that I'm going to try and use back at the office for Premiere. Okay, you guys. So I'm just going back home now. Just been at the Dybelsbro station. Sorry that I don't have that much footage from it. people kept coming up and asking me like, "Oh, what are you doing? What are you shooting for?" People aren't that used to other people vlogging here in Copenhagen, but it's very fun to try. Let's head back to the apartment and check out the footage, see what we can do with it in Premiere. Okay? Yeah. Okay, you guys. So now I'm in Premiere. I have my raw files just over here, and I also have a bonus clip. So first things first, I'm gonna create a new sequence. So I'll just do this one. 25 frames per second should be fine. So I'll take one of my raw files, one of the clips that we shot earlier today, and I'm gonna move it from video layer 1 to video layer 2. Then I'm gonna create a color matte, a white color matte, just choosing the white color down here. Hit OK, call it something like white color matte, so it's easier to find. Then I'm gonna drag it over to the timeline in my video 1 feed, extend it to the edge. For some reason my snap didn't work, but it should be fine anyways. So, but here I'm gonna nest it, hit nest, and then call it something like color map. Should be fine. Okay, then open it up just by double tapping the color map right here. And then now I'm gonna actually create another color matte, a black one. And the black one is being used for the blur effect. So we're gonna hit OK, call it something like black color matte. Hit OK. And now I'm gonna drag it on top of the white color matte, extend it to the edge, and then of course if the snap would have worked it would have been easier, but yeah, you get the point. Now hitting the black color matte, going under FX control, now we're gonna create a squared mask, and this is to indicate the area that's going to be in focus. So all of the white is going to be out of focus in our small blur effect. So I'm just gonna extend this so that we feather it a bit. Okay. Going back to the sequence, we should now create go into the effects tab, then search for the compound blur. Now the compound blur should be added to the video layer. Now you can see now everything has become very blurred. It all looks weird, but that's because the blur effect is added to the video layer video 2. So if you scroll down here under the compound blur effect, you can change the blur layer to video layer 1, because that's our color map. Now you can see that it looks much better. Since I'm working on a very slow computer, I actually need to run through the sequence, because you can see mine has a very kind of like squared blur. So if I render it, it looks much better. Now what I'm highlighting here is just there is a white edge around the picture, but if you just scale it up like 3%, it removes the white edge. Now it looks fine, I think. So now I'll just quickly render it, but I'll go fast by this, because you don't have to see the whole rendering process. So okay, and here's actually the result of the time lapse, but I don't think it looked that good, so I'll just show you another clip, because I actually went to Las Vegas last summer, and one of the clips that I videotaped was a drone footage, and this actually
would be very fitting to try to do the same effect, but just on the drone footage. So I'll just choose a in and out point, because I don't want to do the effect on the entirety of the clip. I just want to sort out just a small part of it and do the effect on it. I'll just delete the edges here. Then I'll go through this exact same process as we did before. I'll just do it a bit faster because we don't have to see every single thing again. Do the white color matte, nested, call it whatever you like. Just call it drone color map. Great. So I'll enter the nested sequence. Then I'll drag down the black color matte, top of the clip. Do a small box, just as you see here. Extend it to the edges of the clip. Then do a nice feather right here. Perfect. So the thin line in the middle is going to be the most sharp in the clip. Then it's going to be more and more blurry. So now we just need to add the compound blur to the video effect, or to the video layer, video 2. So we'll drag it across onto here. Then, as we saw before, everything looks very weird. That's again because the blur layer needs to be set to video 1, our effects layer. Great, or our mask layer. So now you can see that actually looks pretty amusing, but I think the sharp edges needs to be moved a bit. So you can always go into the color map here, select the mask, and then just move it around. And then you can go back to your original sequence, and all of the changes should be implemented. So now you can see that the small abandoned city here is in focus, and everything else is blurry. So now I'm just going to render my in and outs, so everything becomes a bit more sharp. I'll just skip this rendering process, you don't need to see it. This is the end result.
So having tested out the Tiltshift effect, it's definitely really interesting and very cool effect that I would like to try out in some of my other projects. I would really have liked to have tried it out in camera using a Tiltshift lens. Please let me know if any of you guys have tried it out, and if you have some videos of it, I would like to check it out. I would love to try out a real Tiltshift lens just to compare the results. I'm sure that you could achieve much better results than just doing it in post. However, I think that this way of doing it in post is extremely easy. There is also a bit more advanced way of doing it, but that's in After Effects. I'll leave a link to the video in After Effects below, so you guys can check him out. He's done a very extensive tutorial on it. So if you guys have found this video helpful, please consider subscribing, sharing it, putting in some comments below. I would like to check it out and see if you guys have tried this yourself. It's a very new channel, but I'll hopefully do another post next week. So see you guys then. Okay, bye.